Hi guys, my name is Sona. I live alone in a 30 square meter studio apartment in Hanoi. I'm 28 years old, but I've never had a boyfriend. I'm always trying to grow and become a better version of myself. Come spend a day with me, and I'll show you what a typical day in my life looks like. I usually wake up at 7 a.m. every morning. I'm currently working as a full-time freelancer, so it's okay if I sleep in a little. Back when I worked in an office, I usually had to get up at 5:30 a.m. I was always so sleepy back then. This morning, it was lightly raining, so the weather felt cool and refreshing. The first thing I do every morning is turn on all the LED lights in my apartment. Then I check if the 3 avocados I just bought are ripe yet. After that, I get ready for the day. I've run out of toothpaste, so it's time to refill it. I usually keep my toothpaste in these 2 little jars. I don't like squeezing toothpaste straight from the tube. It takes longer, and I don't think it looks very nice. I rinse the jars first, then dry them completely. I actually reuse these little jars from my old face cream. I use 2 different kinds of toothpaste, green tea and activated charcoal. In this video, I'll also share a few reasons why I've never had a boyfriend. The first reason is that I'm quite busy with work. I'm actually busier now than I used to be. My main jobs are running my business and creating content for YouTube, along with a few passive income streams. I used to wear Invisalign. In Vietnam, Invisalign costs more than $4,000. Now that my treatment is finished, I only wear my retainers while I sleep. Then I wash my face with my facial cleansing device. It cleans my skin more deeply, so I don't need to remove my makeup first. I've been using it since 2019. Every morning, I drink about 300 milliliters of water to help support my digestion. Then I gently wipe my face with a cotton pad and some toner. Next, I use my facial massage device. Then I move on to the rest of my skincare routine. I've been using these skincare products for quite a while now. They work really well for my skin, so I haven't felt the need to switch to anything else. Reason number 2, I've had some painful experiences with my family. I was born and raised in an unhappy family. My parents didn't get married because they were in love. They simply got married because they felt it was the right age. I don't want to repeat their life. My father has a bad temper and is quite traditional. My mother didn't have a career of her own, so she stayed home as a housewife while helping with my father's work. That often led to conflicts in our family. I usually have breakfast at around 7:30. Today I'm having some sweetbread with oat milk and blueberries. I keep my small glasses and mugs in this cabinet. I bought the oat milk from supermarket too. I don't usually eat pho or noodle soup for breakfast. These days, I prefer oats, cereal, bread, and plant-based milk. They keep me full longer and feel much lighter on my stomach. My family wasn't wealthy either. We were poor, and we weren't happy. That had a huge impact on the way I see life. I realized that I had to become a better person if I wanted to change my future. Thankfully, the world has changed so much. Today, I have access to knowledge and valuable experiences from all over the world. I need to warm this bread before eating it. I warm up my bread in the air fryer for about 3 minutes. I've had this simplest air fryer since 2023, and it's still working perfectly. I toasted both sides of the bread. I usually eat breakfast at my desk. Reason number 3. I'm also pretty picky when it comes to relationships. I have high standards. Of course, I like handsome men too. But what's much more important is finding someone who truly loves me and treats me with kindness. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I'm also very independent. I enjoy beautiful things. But whenever I want something, I never expect anyone else to buy it for me. Growing up, I couldn't ask my family for much anyway. I've always worked hard to earn the things I wanted. I looked ugly without makeup, so I was too shy to film myself. The rain stopped pretty quickly, so I'm heading downstairs for a 15-minute walk. This is the view right in front of my apartment building. I live in the Sakura at Vinhome's Smart City. I've loved Japanese cherry blossoms ever since I was in university, so living here feels absolutely perfect. It rained earlier this morning, so there are fewer people out for a walk. I really love this courtyard because of its beautiful Japanese-inspired landscape. It would look even better if there were a few koi fish in the pond, but I guess koi fish are difficult to take care of. This is the indoor four-season swimming pool. I've never been inside though because I can't swim, and honestly, I don't really want to. Here's the view from the back. Let me show you a little more around the neighborhood. This is my favorite area in the entire complex. It was completed in the middle of last year, so everything still feels new and well-maintained. Some people still think Vietnam is a poor country, but that was much more true before the year 2000. Since then, especially after 2020, Vietnam has continued to develop rapidly. Today, it's one of the fastest growing countries in the world. This Vinhomes community was developed by Veng Group, the largest corporation in Vietnam, with businesses across many different industries. I just wanted to tell you a little about it because we Vietnamese people are very proud of our country. I don't come over here very often. I usually go for a walk only when the weather is nice. The buildings over there belong to other developers. The sun is finally coming out. From the bridge, you can even see the metro line. I really enjoy living here because the environment motivates me to keep growing. I like surrounding myself with positive people and positive things in life. Now that the sun is out, I'm heading back home. After that, I take a shower and wash my hair to freshen up. I usually start working around 8:30 in the morning, or sometimes a little later if I feel like it, since there's no one around to supervise me. One of the LED lights in my kitchen has stopped working. The light on the left side isn't turning on anymore. Luckily, I already know how to fix it. Since I live alone, I've learned how to handle small repairs around the apartment by myself. Then, I simply put the cover back on, and it's fixed. After that, I do my makeup because I have to go out later this afternoon. I'm using Dalba moisturizing serum, and the next step is applying makeup primer. I like products that leave a lightweight, natural finish. Next is my Skin Aqua sunscreen. This is my favorite sunscreen. For foundation, I use Maybelline. I prefer a soft, natural makeup look. I never feel confident without makeup. Then I use Perfect Diary setting powder. It's a Chinese cosmetics brand, but I think the quality is really good. It gives my makeup a smooth, natural finish. For blush, I use Focallure. My makeup skills are pretty basic. I use Dior lip balm, then a Perfect Diary lipstick. My concealer is also from Perfect Diary. For eyeshadow, I use Clio. Next is Perfect Diary liquid eyeliner, followed by Perfect Diary mascara. A quick brush through my hair. I only look pretty when I'm looking in the mirror. After spending another 30 minutes on my makeup, it's finally time to start working. Right now, I'm working remotely as a freelancer for Magic Music. I used to work at Magic Music's office, but after 2 years, I asked my boss if I could work from home because there were so many other things I wanted to do as well. I really enjoy working as a YouTube editor because I love listening to US and UK EDM remixes, especially tracks from Magic Music, Slap House, Hyper Techno, Speed Garage. It's like getting paid to listen to music all day. I guess my music taste is a little more like a man's, but that's okay, as long as it makes me happy. I even enjoy listening to hard techno. It makes me feel powerful and full of energy. I also like hardstyle, with those heavy pounding bass lines. Magic Music is best known for its deep house tracks. They're really good, but they're a bit too slow for me. I know a guy who makes funk music, and he gets quite a lot of views, but I still prefer songs with vocals. Time for a short break. I'm going to make a beauty tea. Today, I'm drinking black bean and red date tea. I usually drink it every 2 or 3 days. I save the beans afterward to make a sweet dessert soup with lotus seeds and black sesame. Black and purple foods are rich in antioxidants. I roast the black beans first and discard the first batch of water. That way, the second brew has a much nicer color. Now, on to the fourth reason. My parents were very strict with me growing up. I was always obedient and focused on my studies. Our house was right across from my school, so if I had started dating back then, my teachers would have gone straight to my house to tell my parents. I had a strong sense of self-discipline, and I never wanted to disappoint them. There was another reason too. Back then, I was poor and not very attractive, so no one had a crush on me, and I wasn't interested in anyone either. The boys respected me because I was a good student. Luckily, I studied well, so I was never bullied. What about when I went to university? Even after leaving my parents' supervision, I stayed just as self-disciplined. I focused on studying hard so I could earn scholarships. I was still poor and not very attractive back then. Let's get back to work. Each music video takes me about 2 to 3 hours to finish. Generating images with Midjourney AI takes up most of that time because I have to choose images that are both beautiful and suitable. So every day, I'm basically looking at beautiful girls. And they all have to match the US and UK aesthetic because about 80% of my audience is male, and that's the style they enjoy most. I'm not a typical Vietnamese girl. I love music, English, and Western culture. Most Vietnamese girls are gentle and feminine. I may look that way on the outside, but inside, I'm much stronger than I seem. Strong enough to face life's storms on my own. Someone once asked me, "Why do you always seem so serious? If you relaxed a little, people would probably find it easier to get close to you." But I know I didn't have a good starting point. I didn't have many opportunities or much support, so I had to work 100 times harder. My real name is Son. It's not a very common name in Vietnam. Back in my grandfather's and father's generation, people were much more traditional, and my name carries several meanings. The first is good fortune, although I don't think I've been especially lucky. Everything I have today comes from my own hard work. The second meaning is an unmarried woman, and that one is actually true. I've never been in a relationship. I've never even held hands with or hugged a man. The third meaning is lipstick, which is probably the meaning most Vietnamese people recognize. When I was little, my classmates used to tease me because of my name, and of course, as you probably know, Son also means a male child in English. To be honest, I don't really like that name either, so I chose the name Sona for myself, because I'm the one who gets to decide my own life. If it were easy to change my name on my birth certificate and all my official documents, I'd do it right away. One of my viewers from India told me that Sona means gold in Hindi, and it's actually a very common name there. I guess that makes me quite unique. So I like it when people call me Sona. The fifth reason is that I'm focused on personal growth. These days, Facebook and TikTok are full of content about self-worth and self-improvement. I've watched many of those videos too, and they've helped me realize that being single and happy is far better than getting married, living an unhappy life, and eventually getting divorced. In the past, women couldn't stay with their parents forever, so marriage was often their only option. Many women had no choice, and some even had arranged marriages. But today, women have so many more opportunities. We can study, start businesses, build careers, and pursue the kind of life we truly want. That's why our mindset has changed. As long as a woman can support herself financially, she can live a happy and fulfilling life on her own. I feel the same way. I no longer feel that I need a man in my life. I've even thought about what my life might be like when I'm old. In reality, we only have about 50 years of adult life, which is why our youth is so precious. So live a life that genuinely makes you happy. Don't let pressure from your family, relatives, or friends stop you from creating the life you truly want. After all, they aren't the ones responsible for your life. If you choose the wrong person or take the wrong path, you're the one who has to live with the consequences. I plan to stay single for at least another 2 years, until I meet someone who truly loves me. So, you'll be seeing a lot more single life content from me. Don't forget to subscribe. The 6th reason is simple. I just haven't met anyone I truly like. As I got older, I became much prettier, so naturally quite a few guys have liked me. But my mind has always been focused on YouTube. Honestly, I'm still surprised whenever someone tells me they like me. I guess I come across as a little difficult to approach. I'm not someone who talks very much. Whenever people ask if I have a boyfriend, I either don't answer or I tell them that I already do. I only say that because I don't want anyone bothering me. I didn't have time to cook lunch today, so I bought a meal instead. This fried rice cost about $3. I really enjoy the fried rice from a restaurant near my apartment. Since it's located inside the residential complex, the prices are a little higher. There's also a shop that sells ready-made meals, and whenever I don't have time to cook, I usually buy food there. But most of the time, I prefer cooking for myself. The fried rice here is delicious, and they have plenty of different options to choose from. A little soy sauce makes it even more flavorful. I'll give everything a good mix, then add a little pickled cucumber. I'm also having stir-fried beef with pickled mustard greens. To be honest, this is quite a large portion, but it's so delicious that I can always finish it. Along with a bowl of bamboo shoot soup to make the meal even more comforting. I'm almost done eating. Eating alone has never made me feel lonely. After lunch, I clean up a little, then have some fruit and yogurt. These are the cherries I bought. I ordered them online from Go Supermarket a few days ago. There are plenty of convenience stores right below my apartment building, but they're more expensive than Go, so I usually only shop there when my refrigerator runs out of food. The cost of living in Vietnam is quite affordable. I usually spend around $200 a month on food. While eating, I watched a random movie recommendation on Facebook. I don't watch many movies because they're usually too long. Most of the time, I just watch movie review videos instead. Right now, I'm drinking a bottle of Vitamilk Probi yogurt drink. I enjoy Chinese, Korean, and American movies, not just romantic ones. I usually watch a movie only if it has attractive actors or interesting characters. Since I spend most of my time at home, I don't really know much about the movies currently showing in theaters. Now it's time to relax and recharge for a while. After that, I finished my work and upload today's music video. Since they're music videos, I can upload them quite regularly. Vlogs are completely different because they need to be filmed, edited, and narrated, so they take much longer to produce. That's why I usually upload only one vlog every 2 weeks. My editing process is actually pretty simple. I only add a few effects, and then it's finished. Now I just have to wait another 11 minutes. This is the moment I've been looking forward to. Even though this is only the first export, I still need to add a few more effects and create a seamless loop. Some After Effects effects make the export process much slower, so I often use CapCut to save time. Let me tell you something. I'm actually quite petite. I'm 154 centimeters tall and weigh 42 kilograms. Part of that is because of my genetics, and part of it is because I was malnourished as a child. From elementary school all the way through high school, I was always the smallest student in my class. My teachers always assigned me to the very front row, right in front of their desk. I grew very slowly, so my classmates teased me quite a bit. At the time, I was actually very insecure about my appearance. Thankfully, sitting close to my teachers helped me stay focused on my studies. Otherwise, I probably would have been bullied even more. It wasn't until I went to university and met many new friends that I found a few people who were just as petite as I was. That made me feel much less out of place. Come get ready to go out with me. This is where I keep all my socks. I actually like leaving them a little messy. This shirt has a cute little stingray on it, although it doesn't look as nice in the mirror as it does in real life. I'm too lazy to apply sunscreen all over my body, so I usually just wear long sleeves and long pants instead. I took a taxi today to save some time, but I usually get around by bus. I don't know how to ride a motorbike, and I don't own a car yet. Honestly, I'm scared of riding a motorbike in Hanoi. To be honest, I can't even push one properly. The roads are always crowded, so having someone drive me around would actually be ideal. Otherwise, I simply walk. I really enjoy walking, and I'm used to it. When I was little, I walked to school every day. In elementary school, my house was about 3 kilometers away from school. My classmates all had bicycles, but I didn't. Sometimes they would let me ride with them. By middle school and high school, my house was only 50 to 200 meters away, so I could easily walk and didn't need a bicycle anymore. But I still needed one to get to my extra classes. At that time, electric bicycles had become very popular. Yet I didn't even have a decent bicycle of my own. I had to borrow my grandmother's old bike. It looks so funny that my friends tease me about it all the time. Eventually, I was so embarrassed that my mom bought me a secondhand bicycle for about $10. But I used it very carefully. It was with me for 5 years straight, from 8th to 12th grade. I didn't have a motorbike when I was in university, and now it's no longer necessary for me. I'm on my way to the Employment Support Center to receive my unemployment benefits. Since I left my office job about 3 months ago, even a small amount of money is still money. Waiting for my turn, there were about 30 people ahead of me. This office is always crowded, so I had plenty of time to sit and wait. I'd already been here 3 times before, and this was my final visit, officially closing the chapter on my office job. Becoming a full-time freelancer has always been my goal. Now I don't have to spend all day socializing and draining my energy anymore. Once I finished, I headed home right away because it looked like it was about to rain. I took the bus on the way home. A lot of people don't like taking the bus because they think it's inconvenient, but I actually enjoy it, and I've been taking the bus ever since I started working. If I'm in a hurry, I'll use another form of transportation instead. After staying home for about 3 months, I was surprised to see that bus fares are still so cheap. Only about 23 to 38 cents. On the way home, I stopped by Zan Market in Kaohsiung district. I was really thirsty, so I went into Mixue to buy a drink. There were so many choices, but I ordered a grape drink with boba pearls. I'll enjoy it on my way home. It looks like a big storm is coming. The bus arrived just before it started raining. I took bus route E05 back to Vinhome Smart City. There are several universities nearby, so there are always lots of students on this route. Luckily, I got a nice window seat. I hope I can make it home before the rain gets any heavier. I'm enjoying my drink while riding the bus. People often tell me I don't really look 28. I always feel about 2 years younger than my actual age. And I think aging slowly is a pretty good thing. It's around 5:30 p.m. now, so traffic is getting quite heavy. The rain has started, and people heading home from work are getting caught in it. That's another reason I like taking the bus. I can stay nice and dry. Maybe someday I'll buy a car of my own. I've arrived at the final bus stop. As soon as I stepped outside, I could hear the sound of pouring rain. I took one more shuttle bus back to my apartment. Wow, it's raining so hard. My building is right over there. Finally, I'm home. Since it's raining, I'd much rather stay cozy inside. Home has always been the place where I feel happiest. After getting back, I changed into my workout clothes and got ready to go for a run. I really enjoy running. I usually go for a run every other day. Before I leave, I fill up my water bottle to bring with me. On days when I don't run, I just do a simple workout at home instead. I also bring my iPad along so I can watch something while I'm exercising. These are my running shoes. I'm honestly too lazy to tie my shoelaces every time, so I keep them laced like this. I run just outside the gym on the 2nd floor of my apartment building, so I never have to worry about getting wet, even when it's raining. This gym belongs to the apartment complex. I usually choose the quiet corner in the back, then set the treadmill to a walking speed first before adjusting the timer. I used to walk 3 kilometers every day, so walking 10 kilometers feels quite easy for me. Running 5 kilometers isn't a problem either. This is the view in front of me. I usually run around 8 o'clock in the evening, so the gym is nice and quiet. Every now and then, I glance around to see if anyone is watching me. But I don't use the weight machines here. Without a personal trainer, I honestly wouldn't know how to use them properly. I usually run at a moderate pace. Right now, I'm listening to hard techno, so running feels much easier. After about 5 minutes, I take a quick break for some water, then continue running. Once I finish, I spend a few minutes walking to cool down before heading home for dinner. I had actually cooked the rice before leaving for my run. Reason number 7, I don't want to have children. There are 3 siblings in my family. I'm the oldest, and I have 2 younger brothers. My first younger brother is 2 years younger than I am, and my youngest brother is 12 years younger. From a very young age, I had to do a lot of hard work, including taking care of my baby brother after he was born. Because of that, I completely understand how difficult it is to raise a child. There are still so many things I want to do with my life. I've gotten a little bored with plain white rice, so I like adding turmeric powder when I cook it. It gives the rice a beautiful golden color. When I was 12 years old, I was only 130 centimeters tall and weighed 35 kilograms. Yet every day, I had to carry my 10-kilogram baby brother, while also doing many other physically demanding chores to help support my family. Back then, I kept wondering why my parents had decided to have another child, even though our family's financial situation wasn't good. My uncle's family also had 3 children. Looking at them, I honestly felt scared, and I worried about their future too. Not only because of financial hardship, but also because they lacked affection. My parents never really showed affection to their children either, so I rarely talked to them. I mostly stayed in my room studying, and that also affected my personality later in life. I became an introvert and a quiet person, and I'm not very good at social communication. I believe that when you bring a child into the world, you should take greater responsibility for them. Spend more time bonding and connecting with them so they can truly feel loved, grow up healthy, and not become insecure like I was. I had a few neighbors from well-off families, and I used to dream of having a family like theirs. Tonight, I'm making Vietnamese braised pork. Just marinating the pork with this seasoning mix makes it easy. Next, I peel some shallots. I usually start cooking dinner at around 6 p.m. If I don't go running that day, I have dinner at 7 p.m. I eat for about 30 minutes and take a break. After that, I do a bit more work, then I spend the rest of the evening listening to music and checking comments. If I had a baby, I wouldn't have enough time for my passions. I'm having boiled asparagus. Reason number 8 is that family relationships can be very complicated. In Vietnam, when 2 people get married, they don't just build a relationship with each other. They also become part of both sides of the family, including parents, siblings, relatives, and extended family members. Some families strongly expect their children to have a son. Others struggle with conflicts between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. Some people are constantly judged or criticized by relatives or even their neighbors, and there are many other complicated family situations as well. If you're lucky enough to marry into a kind and understanding family, life can be much easier. But if you're not, those family conflicts can easily lead to constant arguments and even the breakdown of a marriage. Next, I add 30 quail eggs. You can use chicken eggs too, but the small quail eggs suit this dish better. I'm going to boil all of the quail eggs at once. First, I rinse them with water, then boil them for about 10 minutes. After that, I cool them down under cold running water. Quail eggs take a little longer to peel than chicken eggs, but luckily the shells come off quite easily. I'll just show myself peeling one. I also keep some frozen chopped green onions in the freezer because they're really convenient. By the time I got back from my run, the food had cooled down a little. I add a piece of coconut flesh and sprinkle some white sesame seeds on top. Tonight, I'm also having some mangosteen for dessert. I always have yogurt at night, and today's choice is aloe vera yogurt. hands are having an allergic reaction because I'm allergic to those rubber gloves. I've already thrown them away, so my hands should recover soon. Dinner is finally ready. But there's still one thing missing: fish sauce. I always use pre-mixed garlic chili fish sauce because it's quick and delicious. My family was poor, so we were often looked down on by some of our relatives. We became the target of criticism and hurtful comments. When I was little, I felt very insecure about my family's circumstances. I didn't understand why they hated my parents because my family was poor, but they hated me too. I was so naive back then. Why would they hate an innocent child like that? But the more people tried to put my family down, the more determined I became to build a better life and prove them wrong. And today, I did that. In my next vlog, I'll be going back to my hometown to bring my youngest brother back to Hanoi. You'll get to see my family's house in the countryside and explore Hanoi together with my brother and me, so don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss it. Besides turmeric rice, I also eat brown rice sometimes. I'm not following any strict diet. I simply try to choose foods that are good for my health. Taking good care of myself is the best way to live a healthier and happier life, so I won't become a burden to the people around me. I don't want to trouble anyone. If my refrigerator is fully stocked with food, I can happily stay at home for days. Just being at home already makes me feel peaceful. I know there are many introverts who feel the same way. Ever since my parents' house stopped feeling like a place I could freely return to, having a home of my own has become my greatest source of security. It protects me from life's storms. After dinner, I wash the dishes and store the leftover rice in the refrigerator for the next 1 or 2 meals. I don't cook too much, but I usually make a little extra, so I don't have to cook as often. It saves me a lot of time. I also mix these 2 drinks together before washing the dishes I just used. Reason number 9 is that I don't want to get hurt. When I was younger, my parents argued all the time. My father even hit both my mother and me. Growing up in a violent household left me traumatized and terrified of being hit. My younger brother grew up quite normally, but my older younger brother and I never got along. He doesn't respect me or see me as his older sister. He's also quite patriarchal. He doesn't really understand me, yet he talks as if he knows everything about me. We argue like a cat and a dog, and that's why I'm really afraid of arguments now. Now it's time to check YouTube Studio. I really enjoy reading your comments, so feel free to leave me your questions. By the way, my music channel and my vlog channel aren't really related. I just enjoy introducing both of them. Since the music is copyrighted, I have to wear headphones. Unfortunately, the Bluetooth on them is broken, so I use the cable instead. Then I check what's on my YouTube homepage. There are quite a few channels copying or reusing my images. I could file copyright claims against them, but for now, I'm still giving them a chance. And reason number 10 is that I still have so many dreams and passions I want to pursue. It's difficult for me to give up the time I spend on the things I love in order to focus on family life and many other relationships. So for now, I'm happy living a single life like this. Maybe a few years from now, when my career is more stable and I've achieved more of the goals I've set for myself, I'll think about getting married. Listening to music is one of my favorite ways to relax. Filling my free time with music gives me more energy and motivation. Honestly, I don't even know what loneliness feels like. Sometimes I wish I could sing well. That would make life even more enjoyable. This vlog ended up being much longer than I expected. I even thought about cutting this final part, but then I realized it's also part of my daily routine. Now I'm going to enjoy some mangosteen. It has a sweet and slightly tangy flavor, and it's absolutely delicious. Enjoy. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any interesting hobbies? I'd love to hear about them, so feel free to share them with me in the comments. That was the last one. It's 10:50 p.m., which means it's time for my shower. After that comes my nighttime skincare routine. I use Senka lotion, Paula's Choice BHA, Dear Claire's hydrating serum, and finally the ordinary retinol. Then I relax for a while by watching TV. At around 11:30 p.m., I go to bed. Thank you so much for spending the day with me. I'll see you in my next vlog.